Right, I've been getting a lot of questions about speed and how to play fast and develop speed if you're not able to play fast yet. So I've been thinking about how to answer this question because I used to just tell people, just use a metronome and gradually increase speed. That's how I did it. But even if I tell them exactly what I did and all the secrets, how I use the metronome, what patterns I practiced. Yeah, I always see there's always a look in their faces. The people who ask me, a look of disinterest, or somehow they didn't like the answer. Like they didn't like that it required work to be able to achieve, to be able to play fast. So in this video, I just want to share some tips and a few important points that can really help us in approaching training for speed much more doable, or not too intimidating. Because if you tell someone just practice this for hours, and they're just gonna lose interest. So I thought about it and I just broke it down to, I have 5 tips to share in this video. So the first thing is mindset. So relating to what I just explained earlier, a lot of people, I think that the reason why they lose interest immediately is that they think, or they have the wrong mindset. They think that there's an easy answer, or they just want a quick fix. But the reality is the progress doesn't happen overnight. It's gonna require some time. And if it's going to require some time, then you might as well enjoy what you're doing. That's a very important key factor in this. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, if you don't enjoy practicing for hours and alternate picking down, up, and using the metronome, you're just going to lose interest and just give up. I like to point out what John Petrucci shared in his rock discipline video. The fact that he breaks down his long lines into scale fragments, it makes it easier to understand and grasp. It's not too intimidating. So if you practice it chunk by chunk and connect them together to form one long line, that's how you do it. It makes it more approachable and more doable. And I think it goes the same with our mindset. If you think that you need to get all these insane runs all at once, then you're just not going to achieve anything. You need to approach it and just achieve chunk by chunk, little by little. A pattern perhaps, or maybe a speed of a metronome. Maybe start at 60 BPM, and maybe this week 65, next week 70, next month 100. So just take it slow. If you don't have that mindset, then nothing that I will tell you or anyone will tell you is gonna fix it. You have to accept the fact that it's gonna take some time. Progress doesn't happen overnight. Develop some habits, enjoy the journey, enjoy what you're doing. So take it a little at a time, accomplish small goals at a time, and then next thing you know, you're able to play those fast runs. So that's the first thing, mindset. The next one is technique. Now there's a lot of techniques that we can talk about in playing fast. There's alternate picking, there's legato, there's sweep picking. You can play fast with economy picking or with your fingers. Oops. So I'm not gonna delve into those details in each of those techniques in this video, because this is just like an overview, some tips that I can share. But one thing that I noticed across all those techniques is that if you want to play fast, you need to have a consistent technique. So what I mean is, if you're playing alternate picking, let's say, and you play fast like this. So try to pick one note in one string as fast as you can, down, up, down, up, down, up, alternate picking. Whatever your technique is in the right hand, however you're picking, however you're holding the pick, however you're moving your wrists, or maybe you're anchoring in your forearms in the this part of the guitar, or maybe you're anchoring with your fingers. It depends. We're all different. But whatever it is, make sure that when you slow down, so that when you practice a pattern, like, because to be able to practice a pattern with your left hand in sync with fast alternate picking, you need to slow down, because otherwise, why are we having all these lessons if you already know that? So when you slow down, make sure that the same technique is being used when you slow down. So if you're playing fast like this, make sure when you slow down it's the same. Because sometimes when we slow down, the biggest mistake that we can make is we change the technique. Like, we tend to swing the wrist more, or whatever might happen. So when you change it, when you change the technique and you gradually increase the speed, and not being aware that the technique also changed as you're increasing the speed, that's gonna give you a lot of problems. So make sure that the technique is consistent as you're slowing down and increasing the speed, so that as you're increasing the speed, you don't have to change your technique. It's the same technique, but you're just working on the synchronicity of your right and left hand. So that's what I will say with the technique side of things. Tip number 3 is still the same with technique. You need to find the right balance of tension, because as you'll play fast, you'll notice that you need to tense up, maybe in your forearms or in your wrists, perhaps, or maybe your shoulders. I don't know. Because once again, we're all different. So if you're too tensed, you won't be able to execute it properly. The same as if you're too relaxed. You need to find that right balance of tension in your muscles, and you will find that as you practice in your journey to fast speeds. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is focus on subdivisions. So having a very solid sense of time. Now, I will recommend mastering 2 basic subdivisions, the most commonly used ones, 16th notes and 16th note triplets. So if you have a backing track like this, 16th note is 4 notes per beat. So if the beat is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry, key of B. Now, obviously, this is a slow backing track, but if you play triplets, it's gonna speed up. So triplets is 16th note triplets is 6 notes per beat. So so 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1. So, you know, the fast lines that we hear, that we tend to be interested in, usually they're played in a very solid time. So make sure you master 16th notes and triplets. Obviously, if you're still a beginner, work on 1 note per beat, 2 notes and 3 notes per beat until you can play 4 and 6 notes per beat. And you know, if you want to play with a backing track like I do nowadays, just play with the different tempos so that you can vary the speeds of the subdivisions. So, but it's very important to be in time, and you know, you don't have to play all the in time all the time. You know, you can play fast. You know, like for example. that's not a very distinct subdivision, or it's not quantized really well, but it's still fast, and you can play that way as well. But as a form of basic skill or foundation, make sure to master the 16th notes and 16th note triplets. The next one is patterns. So that's the fifth and last tip that I can share to you in this video. Focus on patterns, sequences, note groupings, and scale fragments. Because if you're just improvising, improvising is good, but if you're still working on your speed, you need to have a strong foundation of those basic patterns and sequences. So for sequences, I recommend a sequence of 3 notes, 4 notes, and sequence skip. So what that means is, if you're playing a scale, skip is this. So as you're ascending, you're skipping notes as you're ascending. So skip. Sequence of 3 notes is 3 notes at a time. So sequence of 4 notes is so master those basic sequences, and you can create any pattern that you like, any note grouping that you like, however you want. But those are the 3 basic sequences that I recommend to master at a beginner level, even advanced. And even though you don't really use those sequences in your improvisation, like you don't want to play sequence of 4 notes until the end of your run, because it's going to sound very boring and predictable. You want to change it up a little bit, but still it's a basic form of solid foundation of your skill. So master those basic sequences. So those are the 5 tips that I can share to you on how to increase and develop speed. Obviously, I'm just touching a little bit on those few topics. I might make a video talking more in depth about technique, about subdivisions in the future. This is just an overview. One last tip though that I would like to add is use a metronome, or if you have access to a looper that has a drum machine, that's even better. You can just play along with the drum machine and record a backing track or a chord progression, so that as you're practicing and developing your speed, you're practicing to music. So you're playing your lines in context. So those are the top 5 or 6 tips or important points that we need to focus on to develop our speed. The first one is mindset. It doesn't happen overnight. Make sure you enjoy what you're doing and take it little by little at a time. The second one is the technique. Make sure the technique, when you're playing fast, when you slow it down, make sure it's the same. Third one is the tension in your muscles. You need to find the right tension, not too tense, not too relaxed. Fourth one is subdivisions. Work on 16 notes and 16 note triplets. Fifth is develop patterns and practice the sequences, the 3 basic sequences: sequence skip, sequence 3 notes, and sequence of 4 notes. And last one is use a metronome to gradually increase your speed. So those are the 6 tips for developing your speed. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll see you in the next video.